Hey folks, so this is the last weapon guide, and this has to touch on the remaining sword abilities. So I'm actually not in the dojo this time because I needed a good place to showcase a couple of things. So for the last sword guide, basically we've got abilities that are wonky. So I didn't cover anything like Sword of Meditation or Reverse Impact or Severing Spin, Kurama Sword Dance, or Blue Moon. So that's what this is going to be about. I, in retrospect, should have put them in the other guide, given the fact that the fifth guide was 40 minutes. I could have easily afforded to do so, but my apologies. In any case, I am specifically going to showcase why Sword of Meditation can be useful. It does have a notoriously long animation, but there are some properties about it that can incentivize you to try using it. So I'm right now just on, I've picked Honda because he will block. And let me show you something with Sword of Meditation. You do not get interrupted. That attack normally will just send you reeling back. Let me showcase. Come on, charge me. Boom, all right? But a Sword of Meditation, on the other hand, literally has like the most hyper armor I've ever seen in the game. I don't like, it's ridiculous. Also, let me see if I can get him to block. I want to show you something that's kind of neat. Alright, come on. Start blocking, buddy. Nope, not what I wanted. Nope! Ah, I did shoot him through instead. Alright, come on. Alright, he's blocking, right? Watch what happens. Got him out of the block and hit him. Ridiculous. Is ridiculously good for that purpose. And if you don't believe him about the hyper armor, let him do a certain attack that... Alright, here we go. Didn't matter. Powered right through it. So if you are a tankier sort of sword player, this is absolutely a great move to take advantage of absolute extreme armor. Now, as a light armor character who can't take much punishment, the animation time does admittedly suck a little bit. Alright, so I've gotten what I needed from this guy, so I don't mind if he kills me. It's cool with me. Murder me, buddy. Thank you. So, Sword of Meditation, it does have a very long animation time. It does. You can control how much animation time that you have, and depending upon the duration... Actually, I should just show this as opposed to talking about this. Where's my Divine Branch? So I'll show you in the dojo mission other properties with it, but the biggest thing with Sword of Meditation is that if an enemy is blocking, it doesn't matter. It ignores it, and you still get to punish them, which is super solid. So definitely an ability you may want to try. May not be an amazing ability for you since there are other abilities which feel really good. But Sword of Meditation, again, I will say this once more, you basically have super armor with it. Attacks that normally would interrupt you, doesn't matter anymore. The damage does depend on how long you hold the attack, so if you just do it for a quick tap, it's a short animation, but you'll get less damage. So just as a frame of reference, High Stance Strong does roughly 2k damage. What about a short Sword of Meditation? Does a little bit more than that. And then to show you the high damage potential, let me showcase a full damage quick draw. Okay, 3400. It'd be 4k. Let me show it one more time. Okay, roughly 4k with an attack buff, alright? Now what about a fully charged Sword of Meditation? It did more. So Sword of Meditation certainly has the potential to do some of the most damage in the game for the sword. I will get grabbed. Grabs are one of the only things that Sword of Meditation cannot just like superfluously ignore. But great hits, absolutely. So just showcase the damage again. So there you got it. Now you can mess around with Sword of Meditation if that's an ability you'd like. Regardless of whether you get a faster Sword of Meditation activation from Nobunaga's set, the recovery frame, so this portion will be sped up, I forget by how much, but regardless, the recovery animations of it are always going to be pretty long. So what would you do? What would I do if I didn't want to deal with the recovery? Simple! Use a yokai ability. In my case, it's always Ippon. But yeah, it's, in my opinion, an ability that's more suited for the tankier sword users. Anyone who can withstand punishment absolutely, it's a really good move to just ignore everything except a grab, all right? Everything except a grab. But enough about me talking about that. Actually, no, I'm not done yet. Here's a meme thing you can do with it. All right, ready? So, unlock, and then you can turn around, all right? So hold it, and then do the 720 sort of meditation for extra memes. All right? Let's do that one more time, just for pure stupidity. All right, let's go. 720, lock back on, boom. That's my signature move, man. And now you know. And now you can never unknow it. You're welcome. You're welcome. Alright, enough about that. Let's talk about the other move that it conflicts with. And that is Reverse Impact. This is a new DLC ability. To showcase this, I'm actually going to break it down in photo mode. So, this ability is a little strange. So you stab the ground directly where you're at. So the first part of this ability is weird because you need to be extremely close for the first part. And then the second part is rather surprising, in which, look at all of that. You fling it and it's like a big shockwave. So it might seem similar to Retrograde Flow, but it's a bit more offensive in terms of damage as opposed to just knocking a target up. The one major downside to this ability is that aside from making sure you're literally next to the target to hit it, it has quite a bit of recovery time. So I generally cancel out of it with a yokai ability of some sort. But see, like here, I can get that hit off. The debris doesn't do that much damage. But the actual hit, it does a decent amount. So when may you use this? Well, if you're kind of at a weird angle with the target, the tracking on that first hit is actually remarkably good, even though the range is abysmal. So, right here, right? Alright, let's unlock. See, it still orients me towards my target, okay? Okay, try this again. See how it just turned me around towards him? So if a target is just like, as long as you're close to a target, like really close to a target. Alright? Try it again. As long as you're close to target, you can get the hits off. The debris is not the bulk of the damage, but it's pretty decent. Also, a more practical application of this might be after you get a timely guard. But as you can see, sometimes the hits may not connect the way you may want them to. Try it once more. Come on. You have to be very precise about when you land the hit, because if you do it too early, you make sure they're close enough so that you can hit their foot, but you need to, it's tricky, but you can use it as a punish right after a back wave. So again, if you do it when they're a little too far, then the range portion of the first attack won't connect. But otherwise, it can be used as a reasonably quick interrupt if they're a little too close for comfort. Or you could do what I do and just move a little closer to them. It's pretty handy. But watch what happens if I mix it in with soul cores. It'll feel extra special. Pretty cool, huh? Almost like I've got a zero key combo going. But try that out. And you might like it. It's certainly fun. It's certainly a fun thing to have for the sword, just other variety. Good for me. But okay, let's move on to the other three moves that are left for the sword. So let's start off with Kurama Sword Dance, and then I actually have that mapped to high stance. So we'll talk about Kurama Sword Dance, and then I'll start talking about Severing Spin and Blue Moon, which are fantastic abilities. So Kurama Sword Dance is a very long animation, but truth be told, this is one of the coolest abilities in the entire game, simply because it does everything in a package. Let's break down the move. So first is a hit, all right? You've got a hit, right? Then you've got another hit, so that's two hits. And then, takes a while, but you get a kick, followed by a slice, and then another slice. So you get kind of a mix of key damage, interrupt, constant stagger, and just normal damage. So let's see the normal damage output. So as a reminder, high stance strong hits for about that much. Alright. It didn't connect fully, but against humans, you can almost entirely safely go for the full animation because it's a rapid amount of hits. So it's really effective against humans, even if they're blocking. Plus, it looks really cool too. Its tracking is reasonably good too. I find it to be excellent against yokai as well. Look at that horn break, isn't that cool? Does a good amount of key damage as well. So definitely a move you can throw in, and it feels extra awesome to be able to nail it. Come on, let's try this again. Not bad, huh? So I think Kurama's sword dance really speaks to the flexibility that sword has. It's a variety of different hits, very cool looking, and kind of does a little bit of everything, which is really handy. Now, of course, the long animation time does suck, but it's warranted for this ability given that it can handle just about... It's just a safe ability to use. It's not like too long. It's not like Sword of Meditation long, you know? But it's just good. It's a straight up good ability you can throw in. So I find myself sometimes going a little bit on the autopilot because it's so effective at what I'm trying to do, especially for a weapon that already has a lot of tools to work with. Next, we're going to talk about Severing Spin. Severing Spin is the anime move, many will say is very similar to DMC's Judgment Cut End or whatever it is. And you may think, hey, when am I going to have the time to pull this off? It is really cool. The animation is absolutely a joy to look at. Overall, you've got all those hits, and it just feels really cool. So one of the things to pay attention to is not so much the amazing visual effects, but do you notice that there's a bit of a shockwave coming out of it? That is basically telling you what your AoE is. This is an AoE attack, which shouldn't be a surprise, as that's very much what it looks like. And it can be really useful in the situations in which enemies back away. Alright. Don't have to be close. It's what, 3 hits? 3 hits, right? Pretty neat. Pretty good range, huh? And what I like to use it for is either, of course, just do an at-range attack. If I want to hit multiple enemies, which I'll showcase now. It's really good for that. Pretty cool, huh? Also, you have hyper armor during it. They improved the ability so that it does that. It can also kind of zero key combo a little bit because it is 3 hits. So it can feel extra special. And yeah, can't really go wrong with it. So any enemies that like to backdash, or any enemies that are at an awkward angle, or if I'm dealing with multiple enemies, it can feel really good to use. So look at that, I still hit him. So try that out for size. Just because it does have a bit of a wind-up doesn't make it any less worse. It is pretty awesome, and I do like using it, but I do interchange it with Blue Moon. Blue Moon is actually one of the coolest abilities, and it's actually really flexible as well. So Blue Moon has a follow-up. So let me showcase this in the skill tree. If you take a look at where are we at? So we got Blue Moon, ready your stance and take a focusing breath to increase your attack power. This is basically lifted from Tachibana Muneshige, who you might remember. And he would use this in preparation for certain attacks that he might do. And we actually got that very same attack in the form of Omni Slice, which is sick. So you may not know this, but you don't actually have to go for the full charge for Blue Moon to get that buff. That buff is separate from other buff factors, so let me showcase this. The buff, I believe, lasts for 7 seconds by default. Alright. Come on. Alright. Let me showcase it. See, it does not conflict. And then when you're done charging up, you can go for Blue Moon. Sorry, Omni Slice. And it feels pretty rad. Alright, but now here's what you may not know about. So you don't actually have to go for the full charge whatsoever. So watch how quickly I just tap in order to get to do Omni Slice. So if your interest is just Omni Slice, I would say wait until the sword hits roughly around 6, 7 o'clock. I mean, you can just spam it if you want, if you just want to activate it sooner. But you can just activate Omni Slice whenever you want, but you will not get the damage buff. Now here's why you may want to get the damage buff, because you may want to try something else instead. So if you really want to cosplay Tachibana, you can. You can do a full Blue Moon into a quick... I was trying. A full Blue Moon on Key Pulse Sheath to do something like Tiger Sprint, or you could do Blue Moon into, say, something like Night Rain, and you still have a bit of time to get a quick draw, and you can use that attack buff at your leisure. So it can definitely feel extra anime to be able to do this, provided you have proper Key Pulse timing, which I did not. But you have many different options, so it's definitely like you take a little pause, you can decide if you want to go for Omni Slice, and what you may notice is that you can refresh this buff pretty quite handily. Just pretty cool, huh? So try that out. It's a bunch of different hits, and so if you just want Omni Slice, you can just go for that. But it is, again, like with moves like Severing Spin, you do gotta plan it a little bit, but it is pretty powerful. Let's see how much damage I get with the full... Oh! The reason why I like going for the full Blue Moon charge is because you can get damage boosts right after. And not to mention, I find that doing, say, Omni Slice into like Night Rain, into whatever, just feels like a flurry of attacks. Cool, huh? So try that on out. I think that's pretty much it for the sword, right? We got a Kurama Sword Dance, Reverse Impact, Sword of Meditation, True and Through, and Severing Spin, and yeah, like all the things. So when you are evaluating the sword, make sure not to just see one ability in a vacuum. Think about the weapon in terms of all sorts of different things that it can do. Even an ability like Sword of Meditation should not be undervalued or underestimated. Maybe every ability doesn't work for every situation, but the fact that you can so freely change between things with the sword and you have so many different options to engage an opponent really makes it such a blast. I personally wish many other weapons had sort of the same treatment in terms of their variety. That would be so sick. I mean, come on. You've got things like 3 different grapples which actually function differently. I mean, Azuna Drop is amazing. Dragon Fang is really good if you need a lot of anima. You even have a Wake Up attack, which is pretty cool too. It gets a lot of hits. And so it's just a flexible weapon that has a lot of interesting abilities to it. And so I'm really happy with this weapon, and I'm sure if you give it a fair chance to really mix in all sorts of things, you'll find this weapon basically just never disappoints in terms of the cool factor. But without much further ado, let me show you all the types of stuff that is possible with this weapon, even if you aren't playing optimally. It's a blast, and I'm sure you'll love it when you give it a chance. So look at how much butt I'm kicking with things like Azuna Drop. I can mix in whatever I feel is appropriate. And you can kick butt. You're like, what the heck? That enemy just died. I'm like, yep, let's try some other things. I haven't even explored all sorts of other things with this. Alright, what else we got? And this is just kind of give you a teaser of the sorts of things they'll start teaching next, because there's really no reason that I have left to really make other weapon guides. We got other stuff coming. Alright, what you got? What you got? You ain't got crap, huh? What's now? What's up? Goodbye. So yeah, you'll have a lot of fun with the sword if you understand to play to its strengths, which is you're pretty much on the move. You're using a bunch of different types of attacks that you may not have appreciated before, so that you can get all sorts of fun. But yeah, I hope this third little sword guide was helpful and showed you what's possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this guide as much, and also all the other weapon guides have been helpful. And I will see you guys next time with some new stuff. Take care and see ya!